Hi everyone, my name is Marian Sharif Abdinasir and I am the Level 1 Program Manager for Step Up at the City of Minneapolis. We will be discussing skill building today. So skill building and feedback. Every action your intern takes should be tied to a skill. So what does that mean? Well, we want to be proactive and intentional about the types of tasks and actions we assign to interns. We want the task that they do to be tied to a skill. And for instance, let's say your organization's internship is around sales and customer service. Well, one skill that could be tied to is interpersonal communication or customer service itself. The point being is that when they leave this experience, we want them to be able to take those skills and transfer it to other roles and in their everyday life. So the point being, be intentional, be proactive, know that the task that you ask of this young person is tied to a skill and building on those skills. Skill building and feedback. So some of these are the topics that we're going to discuss during this presentation. Adolescent development is one of them, step up skill building, developing SMART goals, supervisor responsibilities, and giving feedback. So adolescent development. Many, if not all, and a majority of the interns at level 1 are 14 and 15. We know that those ages, 14 and 15, are really transitory time in their lives, in a young person's life, having been a young person myself. Things are changing, right? Like intellectually, they're growing, they're like sponges. Physically, things are changing. Socially and emotionally, the landscapes are changing and the world kind of expects more from them. And the key here being listen, right? Listen to see where that young person is at. Meet them where they're at. Hold them accountable. And, that's part of the growth aspect of it. But listen to them. Where are they? What's going on in their life? How are they interpreting things? We really want to hone in on that, right? Like listen to them and see how these aspects of their development link to the things that we're asking of them. Work readiness training. So we know that training focuses on soft skill development. Some of these are communication skills, positive attitude, teamwork, time management, and lifelong learning skills. So MHA Labs has these building blocks. You can refer to page 26 of the handbook. So just to go through a couple of these, personal mindset. So a young person should be building on their personal mindset, so that they need, through this training, that they get the skills necessary to not require as much supervision to complete those tasks, that they attempt to complete tasks independently before asking for help. So they try to think and use, and be inquisitive and try to figure something out before asking for help. And we want to build on those skills. And that's really the mentorship aspect of being a supervisor and the internship experience. Social awareness. We want them to recognize the consequences of their actions and how those actions impact themselves and other people. Collaboration. We want them to help team members complete tasks as needed and work as a team. A person can get somewhere alone, but they can get there faster in a team, right? So another aspect of those building blocks are planning for success, right? So they set and prioritize goals that reflect a self-awareness, their personal self-awareness and their capabilities, interests, emotions, and their needs, right? So that they know what their limitations are, but those limitations don't limit them, right? So they can plan and adjust and pivot. And so we want them to plan for success. And if they plan, that takes away some of the hard work. Let's say communication, that they use and adjust communication strategies as needed based on the purpose of the message, context, and audience. This is important, especially if they are speaking to members of the public, right? Let's say they have an internship where they are writing messages, drafting messages for social media. How do you speak to an audience? How do you be persuasive? How do you be informative? These are things that they can build upon, and I think that is the purpose of these experiences, is to build upon those skills. So when they do leave, they know how to, create a message for a different audience. And building on that too, like the way that you talk to your supervisor or at work is not how you talk informally to your friends. Problem solving, that they define problems by considering all potential parts and related causes. And that kind of goes back to that personal mindset too, and that social awareness, that they try to solve problems themselves within their capabilities before asking for help, but also that they're socially aware enough, that they know and that they work collaboratively to know when to ask for help. So coaching interns. So a method that we use for coaching interns is the SMART system, right? So when assigning a task or a goal to an intern or working with them to develop a goal for their internship, we want to use the SMART system, right? That it be specific, right? And that it not be vague, but something very specific, that it be measurable, right? How do we measure when they've reached that goal? That it be achievable, right? So that it be something that, kind of ties back to their development. Where they at? A 14-year-old may not know how to, sell to or get a contract with a major Fortune 500 company. Maybe they do, but probably not, right? So we want it to be achievable and something within their grasp. We want it to be relevant. Is it relevant to their internship? Is it relevant to those tasks that we're trying to assign to them? And those tasks that are then linked to a skill, and that it be time bound. This internship, and majority of these internships go from June to August, late August, and so that is time bound, right? It's about 3 months. So we want those goals to be something that they can achieve by the end of that internship period. Supervisor primary responsibilities. So some of these responsibilities, and this is just a small portion of that, you can find more in your supervisor handbook, would be that you prepare for the interns that are coming to your organization by prepping and creating an orientation for them. So getting them informed and acclimated to your organization's mission, goals, and just the going on there. So that you create an orientation, and that you mentor and coach the interns, right, by giving them continuous feedback, and by creating an intern performance improvement plan if there are corrective actions needed. And it doesn't even have to go as far as corrective actions, but like when sitting down and working with your particular intern about what their goals are that they want to achieve by the end of the summer, and how this internship links with those goals. Working that out step by step. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Just using that SMART guideline as a way to create, a quality internship. Providing continuous feedback. So continuous feedback is super, super important. Interns that have had, based on our surveys and other studies, interns that have had and youth that have had continuous feedback have a better experience, right? Daily. Be intentional about recognizing your intern when they do something well and providing constructive feedback when there's room for improvement, and not really picking or honing in on what went wrong, right? But rather being, hey, this went well, this needs improvement, and trying to create the perspective around what needs improvement as sort of like, hey, this didn't go well, but we can work on it, and here are the steps to make it better, or to reach a goal, and that goal being to correct that action. And this is another area where the SMART goals can be used. I often use the sandwich method. So call out something good, call out something that needs improvement, and then call out something good again. And remember to use a skill-based lens. And then weekly, schedule a time that you set aside each week to sit down with your intern to review and progress on their work plan, answer questions, and reflect on their skills and development. Often, even in my role, I sit down with my supervisor and we talk about my week. Like, what are my goals? What's top of mind for me? What are things that I need help on? Where are areas that I can improve? And a young person needs this too, to make sure that they have that continuous feedback and that time set aside with their supervisor. And then key milestones. So formal and mid-internship and end of internship reviews help interns reflect on their growth and synthesize what they've learned. So halfway into the internship, let's reflect. How's it going? At the end of the internship, how was the experience overall? Have we reached those goals? And it actually builds trust with the young person as well. So the learn model. So communication and feedback. Listen with empathy and understanding to the young person's perception of a situation. Not every human being comes, into the world with their own lens, their own experiences, their own hangups, their own quirks, right? And part of being empathetic and being a mentor for a young person is to see, well, where are they coming from? How did they think of the situation? I'll give you an example that I had heard actually at my first step up supervisor meeting. I used to be a step up supervisor as well. There was a young person who went to a meeting. They were level 2 that they had at Target. And this young man wore the best shoes that he had because they told him to dress up. And his supervisor had meant business casual, but he had worn these Jordans, really expensive Jordans that he'd saved up for, and he wanted to wear because it was the best pair of shoes that he had. He comes to the meeting, and the supervisor initially thought, oh, well, he didn't take this seriously because he didn't dress up. What he didn't know is that that young man had saved up, the Jordans can be super expensive, about $300 or so to buy those shoes. And it was the best pair of shoes he had. And so when his supervisors told him to dress up, he really thought he hit the nail on the head, that he completed the task and he showed up the best that he could. So listen with empathy and understanding where this young person is coming from. Chances are it's not in a negative light. Explain your own perception of the situation. So to explain to them where you're coming from, that's part of building that trust. To acknowledge and discuss the differences and the similarities. Where is that gap? Recommend solutions. Well, here are some ways that we could correct this. Maybe that we could fill that gap between how you are coming at this and how I'm coming at this. And negotiate an agreement. There is a compromise, right? The young person that you're working with is not there to create harm or anything. So they want to learn, right? And you're a mentor to them. And so find a way to negotiate an agreement. Well, maybe this is their learning style and working style. How can I accommodate for that? How can we come to a compromise and negotiate an agreement where that young person has buy-in, and so do I, and we can build that trust. So we asked interns, what was your summer a valuable learning experience? Interns who said their supervisor gave them feedback about about their performance never or once. 84% agree or strongly agree, and 16% disagree. Interns who said their supervisor gave them feedback a few times a week or daily, and 98% said that it was a valuable experience when that happened. So again, continuous feedback is important. A young person wants to know how they're doing, and it also shows them that there's someone watching their performance, and in a good way, like someone looking out for them. So check in with them, listen, give them continuous constructive feedback. So if you go on page 41 of the handbook, there are a couple of evaluation templates that can be used. If you also go on the website, there is a level 1 specific work plan document. It's a simplified version of the level 2, again, because this is more of the training part of our program and the mentorship aspect of the program, as many of these young people, it's their first job experience. So the performance improvement plan. So point of this plan is to work to correct unacceptable behavior. It's a mentoring opportunity. It must be documented, And you can see page 43 in your supervisor handbook for the improvement plan. So similar to the slide that I just showed, you'll have an outline of what that looks like in actual form. Step up job coaches. So each step up intern and supervisor has the support of a step up job coach. The job coach is the primary contact for questions or concerns. They're a great resource for help with mentoring and coaching youth. And job coaches connect with each worksite at a minimum of once a week, either in person, email, or virtually. So don't shy away, and please reach out to your job coach. The job coach is often the bridge between the supervisor and the intern, as they will reach out to interns to help with corrective actions, but also to help with accommodations. So please get to know your step up job coach that is assigned to your organization. And that's what they're there for. So you utilize their services. A lot of the job coaches are returning, and they're many of them are either teachers or have experience with youth and youth development. So please get in contact with your step up job coaches. If you have any questions at all, no question is too big or too small, please reach out to the D team for level 1, and that is Sandra Brick and Leona Martin. Their emails are on the slide and also available to you on the supervisor website, so please reach out to them. You can also reach out to me. My name is Marian Sharif Abdinazir. If you go on the Step Up website, you can just reach out and find our contact information there. You can also reach out to Sandra if you need to get a hold of me, but really the D team is the team that is your first point of contact. They work with the youth the most, and the job coaches the most, and they have the most institutional and tribal knowledge. So please utilize their services. Thank you.